it's Joey from Ims Elite. We're back in the shop. We got another 5 things. I appreciate all the feedback on the first video, so we're gonna hit you with another 5. This time it's gonna be 5 performance upgrades. So after you've gotten those first 5, just sort of comfort upgrades to get yourself comfortable in the saddle, these are like the 5 things I would go to next. First thing is gonna be intake, number 1. Most of these newer bikes, unless you're getting like an S model, like the Dyna S, or even the newer Lowrider S Softails, they come with like a high flow intake. Some of them have like the oval pancake style, or some of them have like the elbow with the more cone style, but either way, a lot of them are coming with these high flow intakes. But the ones that don't have it, like maybe like a Street Bob where it's got the big plastic air box, I definitely gonna wanna upgrade to something like an Arlen S Big Sucker or an S&S Stealth, something that's like that pancake style where it's breathing wide open from all the way around. All right, number 2 is gonna be exhaust. Definitely gonna wanna, after you've gotten either rid of your stock air cleaner or if it already came with a high flow intake, you're gonna wanna upgrade the exhaust. The motor is essentially just a big air blower. So the faster you can get air in and back out, the better. Obviously there's a science to that somewhat, but you're definitely gonna wanna get rid of the stock exhaust. The stock exhaust is super restrictive and it's more based on decibels and keeping it low decibel rating so that you're not annoying the public from the factory. So I would definitely recommend a 2-into-1 so that you're getting the advantage of scavenging. That's a whole nother video of its own that we could go down, but essentially one exhaust pulse from one cylinder is going to help pull fuel in the other one in theory. So you're getting a performance upgrade by going 2-into-1, and then you're also going to be a little bit louder, like here in California where we can split lanes. Anything helps. Extra running lights, louder exhaust, anything that can make cars on the road see us or hear us better is an advantage. So yeah, exhaust would definitely be my second one. Third thing is definitely going to be suspension. Now that you got intake and exhaust bikes running super smooth, especially if you're carbureted, you've probably bumped up the fuel, maybe rejetted it, or even just ramped up the air fuel mixture. Maybe a tuner if you're on a fuel injected bike, but that's a whole other thing. You can run a lot of these bikes, especially carbureted bikes, with just intake and exhaust and not have to worry about dumping like $500 to $800 on a tuner. So after doing the intake and exhaust, the next thing I would worry about is suspension. So front and rear are their own animals, but suspension as a whole is gonna improve performance handling. So now that you've had the bike for a little bit and you're comfortable, you're definitely gonna start feeling like you need more lean angle, probably scraping pegs in the turns. So on like a Softail platform, running like Dyna length tubes is gonna give you a +2 in the front, or you can run +2 Dyna tubes and go +4 in the front, which is going to give you the height of a +2 Dyna. So you're going to gain a lot of peg clearance. And then in the rear, you can do something like, my favorite is Russ Warnemont RS1s. They're available on all platforms. So like the mono shock, the dual shocks for FXR, dual shocks for Dyna, dual shocks for Bagger. There's plenty of other options that are out there. You can even run the stock shock with like a Codlin lift block. If you're on more of a budget but still want to gain that lean angle, you can turn a 12.5 inch shock into 13.5, almost 14 inch shock. So suspension is definitely going to be the third thing. That's right where I would go right after intake and exhaust. Fourth thing is definitely going to be tires. I feel like a lot of people don't put a lot of stock in tires themselves. It's more about budget because they are such an expensive item and they're consumable, so you're constantly having to change them. A lot of dudes will run something like a Shinko that's like 120 bucks on a bad day. A lot of times they're on sale. So it's a cheap tire. They're very sticky, good wheelie tire, but they're also very soft compound. So something like a Shinko, you're only gonna get maybe 1,000 miles out of it, and it'll be square like a Honda Civic spare tire. I personally like the Michelin Commander series, like either Commander 2s or 3s. Right now I run 3s. I get over 4,000 miles out of them. They seem to be the best tread pattern, and they stop the best. Stopping is another one. That would be my 5th thing, is brakes. So coming from tires and brakes, they kind of play into each other. Everybody worries about making the bike go fast, but nobody worries about making the bike stop. So like my bike came factory single disc in the front. I've since done a FXDX front end, and now I'm dual disc in the front. So I definitely notice an improvement in how fast the front of the bike will just plan itself. All right, back to our 5th thing. We had a little bit of a filming snafu. So brakes, for me, moving from tires into brakes, they kind of go hand in hand. So obviously a nice sticky, decently soft tire, not overly soft in my opinion, when you brake is gonna also help that braking power plant. They go together. If you got a real soft tire that just wants to slide, or also a real hard tire that will give you the same effect, then all that braking power is lost. So if you don't have the funds to go out and get, you know, brand new PM calipers or Ribofini calipers, something like that, you can upgrade your bike fairly simply at somewhat of a budget. All the traditional front end Softails, like the Street Bob and the Softail Standard, they run the same 49 mil front end that's on a Dyna. So you can actually buy off the Trader something like a dual disc lower legs pair from, say, the Trader or something like that on Instagram, from a Dyna, and swap those out, and then maybe shop around for an old, like pre-Brembo bagger set of brakes, calipers, and the master. So that's something that you can usually find for the whole brake line, master, and calipers all together for like $100 sometimes. If you're got a little bit higher budget than that, but still not you know, top dollar aftermarket stuff, bagger Brembos are a great upgrade. That's what I run on my Super Glide. I've pretty much at this point converted it to a Super Glide Sport, like a DX, and I run dual bagger Brembos with floating rotors off of a newer Lowrider S. So the braking powers you can upgrade fairly simply, and then obviously if you have a higher budget, there's several high dollar aftermarket options, but adding an additional caliper to the front makes a huge difference. And those would be my top 5 like performance upgrades that I would think be the most important before anything else. All right, guys, so that's a wrap. I hope this video has been helpful and like sparking some ideas on where you want to go next with your build. So obviously it's not the end all be all of what you need to do. It's just kind of my rough opinions on what I think, but I hope it's been helpful. Let me know in the comments if it has or hasn't. Tell me what videos you might want to hear next. If you fucking hate the talking videos, tell me, I'll stop doing them. It doesn't matter. So subscribe, share them, and get out there. I hope I see you on Sunday. This Sunday we will have our first bike night of the season. So we're gonna meet up at Cook's Corner around 2, 3 in the afternoon, and then everybody will be riding down together, and we're all gonna party. We're gonna have tacos, ceviche, music. So see you there. Fucking get out of here.